Good afternoon, everybody. The taste of victory. Don't have to deal with the agony of defeat. Finally win. So the first quarter of the football season comes to a close. The Giants are 1-3. Feels good to have a win, and I'm going to enjoy this win. But I'm not letting my team off the hook either. We saw improvement from week 1 to week 4. I want to see that same improvement week in, week out. And after a win, it's easier to work on the little things to get better. Locker room stuck together. The guys had heart at the end of that game. The second half of that game really impressed me. And if we can do that for a full 60 minutes, I don't think there's a team in the NFL that wants to play us. The defense still needs some work. I'm worried about that running game that Dallas has next week. I'm not going to lie. That's one thing we definitely have to shore up. But as far as Barkley being back, about 95%. Having a franchise quarterback, I think we can check that box off. Everyone laughed at me when I said Daniel Jones was going to be a top 10 quarterback. A lot of people are like, I was smoking crack. I'm all out of crack. Daniel Jones looks like a top 10 quarterback to me. The numbers he's putting up. Don't have to see Danny fumbles no more, Danny turnovers anymore, Danny nickels anymore. Last 3 games, he's really impressed. Because he hasn't given up. That started rallying other guys. DJ's out there balling. We need to ball too. That's catchy. That's a leader. That's the guy you want on your team. That's the guy you want under center. This kid has worked and worked and worked. Got laughed at on the stage at the draft. Had a good preseason, but then started having issues. Look at all the quarterbacks that came out last year. Had a great preseason. Everyone was hyping them up. Now they got issues. It's hard to go from college to the NFL. Everybody's All-American. Everybody's a pro. These guys have to work just to be a backup. The dedication, the weight training, the nutrition, the ice baths. I don't know about y'all, but I hate sitting in a tub of ice. But that's what these guys do day in, day out. Conditioning their bodies. Just to be a second stringer. To be that guy that, if that guy gets hurt, I'm going to get thrown in there. And these starters, they're on another level. Might have a left tackle too. Nobody else will say it. I will. Thank you, Dave Gettleman. Thank you, Joe Judge. I liked last year's draft. I liked the draft the year before that too. I did like the Barkley pick, and I understood what the Barkley pick was. The minute we drafted him, I knew what that was. I was trying to help Eli win and get into another playoff. That's all that was. But next year, when the draft comes around, we don't have to waste our pick on a quarterback. The 3 needs I could see us would be right tackle, edge rusher, inside linebacker. Those are going to be the needs. And we're probably going to have to pick up some more interior offensive linemen because we're going to have no cap next year. Don't look for anything in the free agency. The team is what the team is. And that's the way you build a team, is through the draft. And let the young guys sit for 8 weeks. I love the way that Tony was brought in. I understand there was a lot of hate. You want to see your first rounder out there week 1. But look how much better he was when he got 3 weeks of getting out there for a couple of plays, having a couple of plays, learning what it means to be a professional football player, not just throwing him to the wolves. Well, let him go out there and do or die. No, give him a fair chance. There are some guys that are good enough, they could come out of college and go right to the pros. There's some guys that aren't. And you just, to me, being old school, you have a better chance of letting the guy adjust for a couple of weeks, get a few plays in. He's got a much better chance to succeed than fail. And I don't want my first-round draft picks to fail. I've seen that enough. We can go all the way back to 2012. First-round draft picks fail. The playmakers that we signed made plays. John Ross. Let's go, John Ross. Kenny Galladay. Let's go, Kenny Galladay. Leaves a good taste in your mouth when you can sit here and say, playmaker showed up. Daniel Jones didn't get sacked. Barkley came through. Life is good on a Monday afternoon. But as I said, I'm not giving them a pass. No, 1-3. A win is a win. I'll take a win. And, and people are sitting there going, well, we could be 3-1. Well, we're not. We're 1-3. We can't go back in time and change this. We're 1-3. But we're a much more dangerous team right now. People are going to look at us differently. And we're going to have to step up even more because people are going to bring their A game to us. When you start winning football games, the other teams that you're going against, more research, more tape time, more matchups, game film. There more goes into the game plan. This is stuff that everybody, just because we won today doesn't mean we're going to be the same team next week. People are going to start throwing different stuff at us. Can that offensive line hold up against their defensive line? What if we put, let's go back to stacking the box and see what happens. Because if we don't want Barkley to beat us, but we got the weapons outside. So let's take one away and see what happens. And if that doesn't work, they'll reverse it. That's halftime adjustments. That's what we all talk about. And that's what teams are really going to be looking at the Giants now. As I said, it's only one win, but the Saints are a damn good defense. You could say what you want about them, but that defense was stout. And Daniel played a damn good game against a stout defense. And he beat somebody else besides Washington. So finally, that can end. I want to see improvement. There's definitely lots of room for improvement, especially on the defensive side of the ball. I want to see that fourth quarter effort. I want to see that for all 4 quarters. I understand, big plays are going to be made, but I don't want a running back getting 7, 8, 9 yards on first down, making it 3rd and 2, 2nd and 1, 2nd and 2. Because that just opens up the playbook and it makes the defense so much harder. We need to keep that 2nd and 9, 2nd and 8. Get a tackle for a loss. Make it 2nd and 11. Make the offense come to us instead of us having to go to the offense. Penalties. We only had 3. That's a nice improvement. I saw improvement all around from last week to this week. It was nice to see. But the first half of the game, I was just like every other Giants fan. I'm waiting for it to happen. I could not get hyped up. I couldn't do it. And then the start of the third quarter, I'm like, well, we went in tied. We weren't trailing this time. Let's see what we can do. And I just started to feel something. And I'm like, it only takes one play. We did it earlier. Why can't we do it again? And then in the fourth quarter, there goes Barkley. That got all us Giants fans hyped up. I know it did me. I'm pretty sure it did for most of the fan base when he come out of that end zone and went right to Daniel Jones. And then we tied it up. And then Peppers at the coin toss. We want the ball. Y'all know the rest of that sentence. I'm not going to finish it. We all knew then and there something special was going to happen. And Barkley did have a fumble, but he just tried to do way too much. And Rudolph, the hero, he recovered that fumble. He was alert enough to know, jump on that ball. So that was one big play. We finally something went our way instead of having a turnover. But it was nice to see heart. That impressed me. But I want to see more. There's got to be more. Because even though we had a couple of big plays, we're not a big play offense yet. We can't just go out there on the field and, do what Kansas City does all the time. We're nowhere near that. The offensive line in the second half definitely stepped up. The first half, they were getting pushed around pretty good. So, hats off to Mr. Sale, the offensive line coach. Because whatever he said to them in the second half, they did it. We had good special teams play. C.J. Board had a nice return. This really was a team effort. This was, everybody rallied behind each other. And they all said, I'm not losing this game. I'm tired of losing. We're going to fly back to New York and we're going to be winners. And that's what they did. And now, once you start winning, that opens up everything else a little more. That makes practice a little easier to go to. That makes studying film a little bit more easier. But we really need to put together a 2, 3, or a 4-game winning streak to really get this ball club rolling. If we can go and squeak a win out of Dallas, that would be a huge confidence boost. That would really drive this team up a notch to be able to go into Dallas and win a game against a division opponent. We'd be one game out of first place when we'd own the tiebreaker. We got some other tough games coming up. Kansas City we got coming up. Tampa Bay we got coming up. But we might be able to beat Tampa Bay. We played the way we did yesterday, or a little better. Mac Jones almost won. So that's why they play the game. Anything's possible. I'm sorry. The taste of victory on a Monday is just so sweet. It's been so long since I felt this. I mean, yeah, we won the game last season, but Philadelphia kind of put a dirty taste in my mouth when they threw that game. I don't care what they say. But I've been nowhere near on the hype train I was. If we can finish 500 or better this year, maybe even 10-7, I'll take it. That's progress. And we won 6 games last year. If we can win 10 games this year with the schedule we have, we went from an easy schedule to like one of the hardest schedules for the remaining games of our year. It's going to be tough. I mean, these games are going to be hard fought, and it's going to be the bounce of the ball. I do like that the refs are not throwing as many flags. They're letting the guys play a little bit more. And we're just going to have to wait and see how this season is going to turn out. But for right now, there's hope again. There's hope. But I'm not hyped. If you stuck around, watch this long enough, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, ring the bell, get a notification when I do videos. Sorry I haven't put a video out in 3 weeks. I was always taught that if you got nothing good to say, don't say anything at all. And I didn't want to put a video out here that I would regret later saying. I just needed time to think about what this team was doing and try to stay, away from Twitter and everything. And I understood everybody's anger and frustration because I had it too. But for today, that's in the past. We're on a win. Could win next week. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. Hopefully we get news out of camp. See what the reporters write about. Now that they have something positive to write about. Let's see what road we're going to go down here. And until the next video, y'all have a great day.